So, in the basics of retail arbitrage, we want to understand what we're looking for. And this basic concept is going to apply to everything that you do. So, it's going to apply whether you look for wholesale, if you go to scale retail arbitrage, if you're looking for books, if you go to private label, no matter what you do, this is a foundational piece that's going to help you as you grow your business in e commerce in general, but especially on Amazon. Because on Amazon, it's all about finding unique, hard to find items. Those are always the items that you're going to get a premium on. And so that's why we need to scan everything in order to identify those items. Now, if I wanted a spatula, more than likely I would just go to Target or a grocery store. I can get a spatula anywhere. But if I want an electric pressure cooker with the steel basin and not the Teflon basin, even in a big city like Phoenix, I don't know anywhere where I can just go and be sure that they're going to have that in stock. So that's the kind of thing that as a consumer, I immediately go to online. I go to Amazon and I start my search there. Because if something is readily available anywhere, it's easier to just go to the store. But if I want a particular kind of cereal, or if I want to find the last figure that my son needs for his toy set, that's when I go to Amazon. And it could be after I've gone to 3 to 4 stores trying to find this elusive item and having been unsuccessful, I finally resign myself to go to Amazon. And if it's not something Amazon is carrying themselves, if it's something that's carried by a third party like us, then more than likely I'm going to pay a premium for the convenience of being able to find it. Now, as a consumer, I don't care because I understand that my time is worth something. And even if maybe that toy cost me an extra $20, or maybe I spend more money on the pressure cooker than if I went to every cooking store in Phoenix and found one, I know that my time has value, so that I don't mind paying a premium because I'm still getting what I want. So what we're looking for is things that are in demand, where the supply for the item is greater for the demand. Now, there's probably not a ton of people out there looking for a electric pressure cooker with the steel basin and not the Teflon basin. It's really a very small group of people. But the number of those items in supply is less than the demand, so that would cause the price to go up. So what makes things hard to find is scarcity. Is it hard to find? Maybe it's a flavor that's only carried in 1 or 2 stores. It could be a trend, an emerging trend. So when we think back to a recent trend, Frozen was something like that. Disney did not expect Frozen to be nearly as popular as it was. So it really caught them off guard. So there wasn't enough inventory to support the demand from that trend. Also, discontinued items. If you ever watch Seinfeld, there's an episode where they discontinue this kind of it's called a Today sponge. And Elaine starts stocking up on them because she can't imagine her life without them. There's a lot of people that have product loyalty to different brands that feel the exact same way, and they do the exact same thing. A couple years ago, when I first started, there was a tampon company that that decided they weren't going to sell a certain kind of tampon, at least for a little while. And the price went up to over $25 per box of tampons. So people will pay a lot of money for a discontinued item. There's lots of other reasons why you can have a demand that it comes up high. It could be a local trend. It could be, something that's new and a new subculture. There's lots of things that can create demand. So, for example, this is a Crunch Time. It looks like a basketball net, and it's just a waste basket. It's just a trash can, but it's selling for $32 on Amazon. Now, we found this at $3.99 at local Walmart. It was on clearance. They were trying to get rid of it, but I could sell it for a huge profit. Now, I'm actually going to make a little less than that because this has a big dimensional weight. So it's going to be a little less, but I'm still going to more than double my money on this particular item. Now, just a note for some of you who are going and looking this item up, these are items that we looked up and we have sold back in March of 2015. So these particular examples might not show these exact same numbers anymore. And we're going to talk about that later. So if you look it up now and it has a different price, understand that Prices constantly change, and what's profitable constantly changes on Amazon. These are some Weight Watcher Brownie Bliss bars. They were found for $2.50, but one box of 6 was selling for $15. So there was more than enough money in the profit to profit off of just one of these boxes of the Weight Watcher bars. This Disney Princess Little Kingdom Magic Clip gift set was going for $41.99, and we found these on clearance at a grocery store for $10.99. So there was plenty of money. This is something small, didn't cost a lot to ship. Very well ranked in toys. So you can see that these are the kind of items that we're looking for. And yes, things do sell at this big of a markup. So that when you're looking at how to source, the first thing you're looking at is profit. If you're not making a profit, there's no point in selling the item. The one thing that I will tell you is, if there is a secret to actually making money, being profitable, selling things on Amazon, the number one secret is, do not guess whether or not you can make money. Amazon fees are complicated. You want to run it through a calculator. So you want to run it through something like ScanPower, Inventory Lab, Scoutify. I personally use Profit Bandit. Amazon also has an app. It's the Amazon Seller app, and you can use that as well. It just doesn't work as well on used books. But all of those things, you want to actually run the numbers and make sure that you're really going to be making money. Don't speculate. Look for the actual answer. Rank is the next thing is rank. So, is there a demand for the item? Now, rank and number of sellers goes together. So, rank gives us an idea of the demand, and the number of sellers gives us an idea of supply. Now, there's a lot of hard and fast rules that are out there that people will say, stay in the top 3% of the category, stay in the top 5% of the category. We actually do the opposite. We stay in like the 5 to 10% range of a category, and we look for items that don't have a lot of sellers. But if something's the number one ranked toy, it can have 100 sellers on it at Christmas and still be moving at a very high speed where you can sell it very quickly. So it's kind of like an inverse relationship. So my recommendation for you is to not get stuck in any hard and fast rule, other than staying maybe in the top 10% of the category to start. And then as you are getting more experience in selling, sell in the top 3%, buy some things that are really well ranked, buy some things that are maybe in the 15% rank, buy some things in the 10% rank. So buy things at a variety of sales ranks in different categories, because every category moves differently, and find what sales rank you feel comfortable with in that category. So I have people that in my life that are also doing Amazon, and we all have very different buying criteria as far as rank. The other thing that you want to really consider is Amazon selling? So you always want to check to see if Amazon itself is selling it. Amazon is a very tough competitor because they don't have to pay for Amazon fees, and they're not really that concerned with making a profit. So it can be very difficult to compete against Amazon. Also, sometimes they're just not very good at sharing. They don't share the buy box. And if you don't know what the buy box is, we're going to talk about that in a minute. So you can skip generics, like just some things that have no brand. Now, there's some generic brands that have value. So, for example, Kirkland, Trader Joe's, those store brands actually have value. But you can skip things like, a generic Kleenex, or a generic tissue box, right? That there's nothing special about it. Other than that, you want to scan everything. So the reason we have to scan everything is because every color and variation can be a little different. So all of these turtles go for about $10, at least the time that I first put these slides together. But April, who goes with these turtles, is selling for over $36 with shipping. So because she's different, because when they buy them in the packs, when these dolls were out, you would get like 4 Donatellos and 4 Leonardos and 1 of the other turtles, and then maybe in every other case there might have been 1 April. So there was a shortage of April. There was a demand for that character, but there wasn't enough supply of that character. So it was ranked well in toys, and it would sell at a high premium. Now remember, nothing is static. Price, rank, number of sellers is always changing. So It might have a really great rank, and then by the time you get home and get it scanned in, ready to go, the rank might change. It might have a really good profit margin, and then the price might change. Give yourself room for mistakes. That's why it's important to start off with a high return on investment. At the minimum, as you're starting, start at least at 50. Try to aim for 100. The reason for that is you're going to make mistakes, and there are going to be things that you buy that the price could go down on. And we want to make sure that even if you lose money on a couple of items, that overall you're remaining profitable. Buy shallow. Don't buy 500 Aprils. Buy 3 of this and 2 of that, 1 of this and 5 of that. Instead of, 30 of this item and 50 of this item. Buy very wide, buy a lot of SKUs in the beginning. Once you've become really masterful at looking at sourcing, you'll be able to buy bigger lots right out of the gates. The other thing is, if you can find things at full price instead of clearance, you can buy them, see how quickly they sell, and let's say they sell 7 in a week. So we know we sell about 1 a day. So I could go back and say, well, I want 4 weeks worth. So I would just take 7, multiply it by 4, and now I know exactly about how many I want to have a month's worth of coverage. So I'm not guessing. The reason that's important is we want to keep our inventory moving, because if all of our money is tied up in inventory that is good inventory, but we bought too deep on it, then our capital for our business becomes stuck in that inventory. We're not liquid enough. So we're unable to make new buys, we're unable to maybe pay for our bills, our subscriptions, things like that. So it's important that we stay liquid, and the way that we do that is by making sure that we don't go too deep in any one item. If a toy, let's say a particular toy, sells 50 a day, and I buy 5,000 of them, how many are going to sell tomorrow? Assuming nothing changes in the trend, the price, those kind of things, it's going to sell 50 tomorrow. It doesn't matter if I bought a lot of them. The demand does not change because the supply changes. Now, if I lower that Lego item, the price of it, from $80 to $20, I will sell more. But I have to have a lot of room in my margin to be able to lower the price to really change the demand significantly. So I'd like you to go ahead and pick the good item, because we're going to talk about why you have to scan everything. So as you're looking at this, which is the one that actually you can make money off of? This Marvel superhero squad sells for $32. It was selling in stores for about $8.99 for a while, at least some stores here, and was ranked really, really well. So there is no reason why this one should sell better than the others. I do like cross-branded items, so items that have licensed figures outside of plush and dolls. So maybe superhero Play-Doh or superhero waffle makers. Those kind of things do well. But we're looking at is it's hard to identify which ones are actually selling over retail. When you this one we actually found actually cheaper. It was $6 at Walgreens. And it was the after all the Amazon fees, it was $24. So we made quite a good amount of money off of each one of those that we sold. All right, so pick the good item. Which is the one that's selling over retail? It's actually the cushion grip. One of these is a pack of 1 is selling for $72. So 1 tube of this denture adhesive is selling for $72. And as you can see, it was ranked really well in beauty too. So we found this at CVS for $6.50. And so, we made over $50 each one of these that we sold. So you can see that there's some things. Now, these are extreme examples. You're not going to find this, you're not going to find 50 of these all at once. What makes them sell at such a premium is that they're really hard to find. All right, pick the good item. Which one of these guys is selling for more than the others? This Power Ranger Mega Force Red Ranger, they suppressed the buy box, so you can't see the actual buy box, but it's selling from $119.95, brand new. This was found on clearance at Walmart for $12.50, so you can see there's a very significant profit margin. Now, if we had just said, well, we're only going to spot the things that I think that are going to sell, we would have completely missed all of these items. So it's really important that you scan everything. These are not normal markups. This is not what you're going to find every day. Most of the time, you find something for 6 that you can sell for 18, something along those lines. That's really kind of the bread and butter of what we're looking for. But these items are out there, but you have to scan everything in order to find them, because it doesn't make sense why one is selling for so much more than the other. But it happens all the time because something becomes hard to find and somebody needs it to either replace for a child that lost something, or maybe they just like that brand and that's the brand that they want and they don't care how much it costs, they just want it. That is the Amazon customer. The Amazon customer is your Nordstrom's customer. They expect everything to be perfect. They expect everything to, to be able to get exactly what they want, and they want it right now, but they're willing to pay a heavy premium for that convenience. Everybody wants to know the secret, and the only secret is to scan everything. There is no shortcut. Go in with the right expectations. Expect to scan a lot in order to find those profitable items. And regardless of whether you're doing books, if you're doing thrift stores, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, private label, this business, a lot of it is the sourcing. The hardest part is the sourcing. And it's a numbers game. And it's being willing to go through those numbers one after one. And it's boring sometimes. It's not very fun. But do what no one else will do so that you can live like no one else lives. Being willing to put in the work, this is definitely worth it. It's a really great way to build a solid business, a long-term business, and you can either continue to grow this business or start to use the money from the profits to seed another passion project or business.